Welcome to selfdiscoverymedia.com, where we discover the communities that are making a difference in the lives of others. Our self-discovery is something we are all making on our life's journey. Here you will find the people that will be your guidance, that will be your inspiration, that will be there for you in support on your journey of life. Do enjoy. Our next show is... Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Sarah's View of Life, right here on selfdiscoverymedia.com. I am your host, Sarah Troy. Well, something wonderful happened to me last week. A birth. A beautiful birth of a little boy that my daughter had. I haven't yet seen him, but already I am so in love. His pictures show so much character. And there is just something about that heart that just starts to explode. Birth. What a wonder, a gift. But it's also what a pain. My grandson took 48 hours to come into the world. We were elated at welcoming this little guy, but everybody was exhausted and nail-biting down to the elbows. It didn't matter what difficulty she went with through him. And as myself, I had horrible birth experiences, went into comas and forceps and epidurals and C-sections and numerous other things. But the moment that baby was put into my arms, you forget everything. That creation, that heart beating there, that love, overwhelming love that you have for them is just, there are no words to describe. But you know, it's also a metaphor for life. How fast we forget the pain and the struggle in bringing our children into the world. And, you know, we do it again. I did it 3 times. Once that baby is in arms, we seem to forget the struggle of getting them here. Like a metaphor for life, getting through the struggles and embracing the birth of a new life. Maybe it was meant to be hard, so we will appreciate the gift at the end of it. Our own rebirth, a birth of a child. We value it more with the struggle, for we know what it took to get us there. Life is an inside job and a process that never ends, that just grows as we grow. The willingness to go through it only expands our abilities and allows us to see the gift of life in a more valued and abundant way. If we value life, our own lives, when we have experienced the struggles, why do so many people turn to killing? Why are people eager to dismiss life so easily? If we have known how hard it is to come into the world, the struggles of growing up, and all the heartache and the pain one goes through in life, why would murder be on someone's mind? One of the things we talk about a great deal in all of our shows is gratitude. And gratitude is something that when we look at it, we see it. We see everything that we have. We don't focus on what we do not have. We see all the abundance and the opportunities and the possibilities of life, all the wondrous things that are out there ready for us. We see the hopes and the dreams and the creations and everything that we know we can do. But can we achieve all of that with hate or greed or loathing or fear in our heart? No. There are far less women killers than there are men. And I think a lot of that is to do with the fact of women giving birth. Yes, there are mothers who've killed their own children and women who are mothers who still kill. But there's something detached from them that when they held that child in their arms, their heart wasn't ignited because there was something lost within them. Is that what the problem is? That when you take those struggles of life from birth, the battle to come into the world, the growing up, the teething, the learning to walk, the falling down, the getting back up, the bullying, the struggles at sports, at school, and making friends, and getting a job, and falling in love, and all of that. Yes, it can be a struggle, but it also could be an adventure. If we change it to not struggle, but adventure, I know that, life is a curve like this, constantly up and down, up and down. It doesn't have to have the extremes of extreme ups and downs, but it's going to go in a rhythm and in a flow. If we looked forward every day to what we're going to learn today, if we looked forward every day to what this day can bring, what we can bring to it, then I think we would actually see the value of life so much more. How can you hold life in your arms, especially life that you've brought into the world, and think of taking a life? I personally don't know, but then I'm very heart ignited. I know there are people who've killed their own children, and all I can say, there's something desperately missing inside of them. They generally do it for someone else. So they're still living an outside living instead of an inside living. When we get stuck in fear, hatred, comparison, competitiveness, racism, when we get stuck in all of that, we're in a very, very low vibration. And that vibration can pull us down. That vibration is something that stops us from being creative. It stops us from looking at all the possibilities in life. It stops us from appreciating all the beautiful, everyday, little to big things that are happening around us and the people around us. I think one of the hardest things is as an adult of rebirthing yourself, going through that however month of your own self-discovery, getting rid of what you do not need in your life anymore, the past ancestral lives, past lives, most certainly anything that weighs you down. Clearing that all out and being a beautiful heart, soul, blank slate, and then birthing yourself into a new life of illumination and possibilities and options. It's a process that we have to be willing to go through. And sometimes we may go through it 2 or 3 times in life, different chapters in life. We realize, I've gathered some baggage along the line here. I need to get rid of it. It's weighing me down. It's stopping my opportunities. It's stopping me from leaping or walking forward. And we have to do that self-cleanse of getting rid of that baggage that's weighing us down and kind of rebirthing again into a new light. But each time your heart and your soul gets stronger, your core gets stronger, your mind gets wiser, and you know that whatever you're going to do in walking forward, it's not only going to be good for you, it's going to be good for all of those around you. Birth. The birth of a child, the birth of an idea, the birth of a possibility, of an opportunity. These are the moments to embrace, to be grateful for, to look at in wonderment, to see the gift that is there. I've held 3 of my own children in my arms. And the feeling that came over me, I mean, I was in love with them before they were born, but when they're there in my arms, it was, what was my life without them? And you think that with the second child, how can you feel it like you did with the first child? But you do. And the third child, you do. And it doesn't diminish the love you have for your other children. It just expands it, expands it. And although I haven't held this wonderful little grandson of mine yet, I've looked into those little eyes. I've seen that quirky little smile, and we are already connected. And when we do hold each other, I know that there's going to be a bond between Nana and Baba. The gift of life, the gift of birthing, the gift of the rebirthing, the gift of looking at life through new, open, wondrous eyes, not skeptic or distrustful or fearful eyes, but wondrous eyes of what's out there. What's there to be explored? Who am I to bring into this adventure? Where are we going? What are we going to see? What are we going to experience? What are we going to taste? What are we going to do? Whom are we going to meet? How is it going to impact us? What is going to become because of it? That sense of adventure, that sense of exploration that a child from the moment they're born will go through for all of their lives. As adults, we kind of forget it. We forget that life is an adventure. It's an excitement. It's a joy. It's to be fulfilled. It's not to step into hate. There isn't any single one of us that hasn't gone through something painful, hasn't had to struggle with something. And yet I'm even talking about the kids that were born with the silver spoon in their mouth. The facade of them keeping up their appearances, of having to follow a certain code, of following in mum and dad's footsteps and not allowed to be themselves, or governed by the position and the money. Meghan and Harry, for one. Wanting to break free to be themselves. Taking that journey to discover who they are without all of that entitlement. Nobody goes without a struggle. But look at it as a challenge to go through, to become stronger because of, to discover your abilities, to embrace all that strength that you have inside of you, and to know that no matter what's thrown at you, you can face it. Even if it cripples you for a moment, you can get your legs and stand again. Birth. Where would we be in the world without it? Absolutely every single particle, everything growing comes from birth. The spring is a beautiful example of birth. The trees look dead, look like they could fall over, and suddenly you see the buds coming out on them. Everything beginning to blossom. The ground looked muddy, like no grass on it. A little bit of rain and some sunlight, and all of a sudden it's a full, abundant green lawn again. Everything comes back to life. It is the cycle, and you're going to have some life and death through your life. End of chapters, beginning of new. That's what life is about. So be willing to experience. Always be in wonderment of the gift of birth. And understand, death isn't something to be afraid of. How we die, obviously, is a preference. But death itself is just an end of your book in this lifetime, in this body. The spirit will go on. It will come back, or it will ascend and keep on writing its story. Our story never ends. That never-ending story. Do you remember that book, that movie? Wonderful. Let's look at that for a moment. The never-ending story is about a little boy reading a book, and as he's reading the book, he's keeping the story alive and saving this mythical world from dying. As he reads it, he keeps it alive because he's reading it. As we participate in our own lives, we're keeping our lives alive. We're keeping our story alive. And we can change plots and change directions anytime we want. Don't let your book die on 1 or 2 chapters just because you got stuck in the story. Find a new story. Even if that chapter is the story of struggle, let the next chapter be the one of triumph, of what you learned from that struggle and how abundant you are now. Do not let your story end, please. Let it ascend from your dying body and take that story off into the spirit world to enhance it. Please, this spring, walk around, pay attention to all that is growing. Look at all the new babies out there, puppies, kittens, children, birth of trees, of flowers, of the lawn, of all that is coming into life. And literally hold your heart, hold your soul, hand on stomach, hand on heart, and say thank you. Thank you for the rebirth. Thank you for the birthing. Thank you for all that is life, all that is beautiful in life, all that is possible in life, all that is glorious in life. Thank you for helping me through the struggles, helping me understand that I can get through with the help of others, with the knowledge from others. That's what Self-Discovery Media is all about. All those people who are sharing that knowledge with you to help you through those processes. You've got to walk it. They're there to guide you and help you along the way. You're not alone. You're never alone. So may this birth of the spring be wondrous for you. And any birthing that you're doing, a pivoting of career, a new love in your life, a new job, new place, new whatever it is that you are embarking on right now, may you feel that wondrous excitement, the enjoyment of those possibilities, of the adventure of a lifetime. And may you truly, honestly, and completely live it. Until next time, folks, bye for now. We hope that you enjoyed the show. You will hear many, many shows here on selfdiscoverymedia.com. We have new shows for you out every week. Just find them on our podcast or What's New. If you feel that you have something to share that makes a difference in the lives of others, or you too feel that you could be a host, please contact me at info@selfdiscoverymedia.com and we will be glad to speak with you. Have a wonderful day.